It looked like things had finally calmed down between Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimblett, at least for a brief moment. But that moment has officially passed. The tension that once hovered in the background between these two combustible personalities has now exploded back into the public eye, and not quietly. Just weeks ago, they were seen fist-bumping at a UFC weigh-in in London, offering what looked like a temporary truce. Maybe even a signal that the rivalry had cooled down for good. But that illusion didn't last. With Topuria now making waves in the lightweight division and firmly in the title picture, Paddy couldn't resist reigniting the fire. He did exactly that by openly questioning the legitimacy of Topuria's victories, accusing him of being hand-fed favorable matchups, even pointing out that his high-profile wins came against fighters who were either coming off brutal knockouts or absolute wars. According to Paddy, that conveniently placed Topuria in a position to succeed, casting doubt over what many fans considered standout performances. But it didn't end there. Paddy went a step further and boldly claimed that, outside of a hypothetical super fight between Jon Jones and Aspinall, a showdown between him and Topuria would be the biggest draw in MMA right now. That's not a small statement. Topuria, never one to let a jab slide, quickly returned fire. In a subtle yet calculated dig during an interview, he mocked Pimblett's recent extravagant post-fight yacht party, suggesting that Paddy's focus wasn't on competition, but on throwing lavish celebrations for himself. His message was clear: Paddy's more about spectacle than substance. That alone would have kept the beef simmering, but things escalated fast. Paddy, always the showman, took to Instagram and posted a video of himself head-kicking Michael Chandler, a not-so-subtle message aimed directly at Topuria. The caption read, "Can't wait to land one of these on El Crizo," a Spanish slang insult that translates to something like little sausage. The insult might sound goofy on the surface, but in the context of their bitter rivalry, it hit hard. This wasn't just a playful back and forth. These two are circling each other like sharks, and the smell of blood is unmistakable.
Reckon he did that on purpose, or was that?
I don't know what I mean. As I say, I like Mike. He's a nice fella. He's very respectful and nice outside the cage, but when he gets in it, he hit me with about 4 punches in the back of the head in the first round. Know what I mean? Nothing even got said to him. But you never know, he might...
As this drama plays out, another shift shook the MMA landscape, a fight cancellation on the UFC Baku card. Kyoji Horiguchi pulled out of his scheduled bout without a disclosed reason, and the UFC had to scramble for a replacement. Tagir Ulanbekov has stepped in to fight Azat Maksum, maintaining the card's integrity, but fans are already speculating about the cause of the withdrawal. Injuries? Visa issues? Nobody knows yet, and that uncertainty just adds to the current chaos in the MMA desk. But the drama doesn't stop there. Dana White, who has been trying to expand the UFC's influence into the boxing world through TKO promotions, just got hit with a major setback. A highly anticipated super fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford was supposed to be co-promoted by Dana's new boxing venture. That plan has officially fallen apart. Saudi Arabia's Turki Al-Sheikh announced that the promotion rights had been reassigned and that TKO was out. Now, the bout will be promoted under the Riyadh season banner, with the broadcaster still undecided. The fight is set for September 13th, which awkwardly overlaps with the UFC's planned Noche card, sparking concerns of internal scheduling conflicts. The optics? Not great. Some are speculating that Dana's TKO boxing dream might be in jeopardy before it even takes off. And while Dana was likely dealing with the fallout from that news, another drama was brewing elsewhere. Aljamain Sterling recently had to address some bold, almost disrespectful comments made by TJ Dillashaw. One fan pressed him further, saying he should have vacated the title by now if he wasn't planning to fight. Looking back on their 2022 title fight, Dillashaw claimed he could have knocked Sterling out with just one arm. Keep in mind, Dillashaw's shoulder popped out early in the fight, but instead of pulling out, he pressed on, risking long-term damage just for a shot at the belt. He explained on a podcast that at his age, he felt it might be his last chance to reclaim championship gold. But saying Sterling's striking is garbage and claiming he could have won despite a severe injury didn't sit well with the former champ. Sterling didn't let the comments go unanswered. He clapped back on social media, saying that not even 3 extra arms would have helped Dillashaw win that night. He reminded fans that he was simply the bigger, better fighter, and that Dillashaw's past is riddled with controversy, including a suspension for banned substances. Fans quickly rallied behind Sterling, calling Dillashaw's legacy tainted and noting that cheating allegations have dogged him for years. One fan even accused Dillashaw of teaching others how to cheat back when he was exposed by his own teammate. It's a messy history, and it keeps haunting him. Meanwhile, someone else is entering the UFC with a lot of eyes on him: Patchy. If you're not a hardcore fan, you might not be familiar with Mix, but those who follow MMA outside the UFC already know he's been a dominant force in Bellator's bantamweight division.
To control the hands the best I could. I knew I wasn't going to be able to scramble to my feet because I couldn't push off my arm. I thought I'd be able to get it back into socket, but wasn't able to, man. So I just knew I had to weather the storm that first round, come out and hopefully land some big shots. Unfortunately...
Now signed to the UFC, he's slated to face Mario Bautista in his debut. Mix isn't just confident, he's on a mission. He said he's ready to fight anyone, anywhere, regardless of ranking, and he made it personal by saying he wants to avenge Jose Aldo's controversial loss to Bautista. Mix has trained with top contenders like Aljamain Sterling and Merab Dvalishvili, so he's not walking into this unprepared. If he beats Bautista, he could jump straight into the top 10 and shake up the entire bantamweight scene. Speaking of shakeups, interim heavyweight champ Tom Aspinall recently looked back on his favorite knockout, and it wasn't hard for him to choose. It was his brutal finish of Sergey Pavlovich in November 2023, a performance that earned him the interim belt and the respect of the entire division. Aspinall admitted he was out of shape on short notice and had to fly across the world just to take the fight. But he still delivered. Pavlovich was on a monstrous 6-fight first-round KO streak, destroying names like Derek Lewis and Curtis Blades, and yet Aspinall walked through him like it was nothing. That win wasn't just about power, it was about grit.
I'm not the best boxer in the world, I'm not the best grappler in the world, I'm not the best wrestler in the world, I've not got the best fitness in the world, I'm not the strongest guy in the world, but put it all together, and as a collective, I do that as good as anybody.
Now, all eyes are on a potential showdown between Aspinall and Jon Jones. And that brings us to the man at the center of almost every major MMA conversation, Jon Jones. The heavyweight champ recently fired back at criticism from fans and fighters, accusing him of ducking Aspinall and stalling the division. While enjoying himself in Thailand, Jones tweeted that he's living his best life, stuffing his face with amazing food and somehow still losing weight. When fans accused him of enjoying his last days as champ and predicted he'd be stripped soon, Jones didn't flinch. He responded by asking if he looked like the kind of guy who cared about that kind of thing. Jones responded cryptically, saying he had already informed the UFC of his plans and had no idea why they weren't public yet. When someone asked what his actual plans were, Jones kept it vague, stating that his goal is simply to continue monetizing this amazing brand I've created. That's vintage Jon Jones, mysterious, calculated, and fully aware of the leverage he holds. One fan bluntly told him to shut up and fight, to which Jones smugly replied that the desperation and obsession from fans is making him a very wealthy man. Later, he posted a video sipping coconut water in a tropical paradise, clearly enjoying the chaos he stirs up without even stepping into the octagon. The mind games continue. Meanwhile, speculation is running rampant about whether the Jones versus Aspinall fight will happen at all this year. Fans are split. Some believe Jon will never step in the cage with Aspinall, while others think he's simply waiting for the perfect moment to cash in on the biggest fight possible. And while all this unfolds, the MMA desk saw yet another legend close a chapter.
If I'm being completely honest, I feel like Tom's been such an asshole that I don't want to do business with him. You know, it's just like his fans have been so annoying. And obviously you don't get this far in a career being affected by fans or whatnot. But he's...
Jose Aldo, the King of Rio, appears to be retiring for good this time. After a controversial decision loss at UFC 315, Aldo released a heartfelt statement saying he's stepping away from MMA for good, ending a legendary career with peace in his heart. He emphasized that his time in the cage was lived with blood, sweat, discipline, and honor, and now it's time to live for his family and inspire the next generation. Fans had speculated whether he might take another boxing match or reconsider if he rewatched the fight and felt robbed, but his words were clear. This chapter is closed. And finally, we turn to Gilbert Burns, who recently suffered yet another tough loss, this time to rising contender Michael Morales. Burns, a longtime welterweight staple, was unable to withstand Morales' power in the first round of their UFC Vegas 106 main event. Afterward, Burns issued a classy, heartfelt statement, acknowledging the pain of the loss, but expressing deep gratitude for the journey. At nearly 39 years old and riding a 4-fight losing streak, the questions about retirement are growing louder, but Burns isn't making any decisions just yet. While it's true his days as a top contender may be over, it's also true that his recent losses have come against killers: Bilal Muhammad, Jack Della Maddalena, Sean Brady, and now Morales. He's not losing to nobodies, and that's part of what makes his current situation so complicated. Should he walk away now, with pride and dignity intact, or push for one last run? That remains to be seen. One thing is clear: from the resurgent rivalries and shocking callouts to the legends possibly leaving for good, the MMA desk isn't slowing down anytime soon. And as these stories continue to evolve, one thing's certain: we'll be watching.